Hey there, I'm Anthony Romano, and this video is going to tell you the top supplements to take when you're entering ketosis. So, on one hand, this is going to teach you a lot about the mechanisms of keto if you're an experienced keto dieter, but on the other hand, if you're a complete beginner or newbie, this will make the adaptation way easier because most people quit before they actually get to experience the benefits of ketosis. Now, granted, everything that I'm talking about in this video is specifically aimed at making entering keto easy as hell. Okay, this is not my overall recommendations of supplements. If you want to learn some of the best supplements for your health, I recommend you watch the top 5 supplements everybody should take video that I have, and you could use those in combination with some of these as well. Before I get into the video, if you like it, that will make YouTube show my content to more people, and that's what you can do to help me out and grow my page. And besides that, subscribe if you like the content. And also, I have a ketone supplement giveaway, rules in the description, you could win. Let's get into the video. Okay, so the top supplements. Let's get into the first one. The first one is apple cider vinegar. Okay, I have an entire video on this. This is a powerful supplement on its own, but the primary purpose for keto is that this can help you stabilize your blood sugar. And if you are entering ketosis, stabilizing your sugar is the primary barrier that people run into. Basically, the whole reason they will have the urge to cheat or eat carbs at first is because their blood sugar is dropping. And I have plenty of videos explaining blood sugar stability and blood sugar variability. The best athletes in the world have the best blood sugar control. Your best focus states are when your blood sugar is controlled, and that is one of the benefits that you will achieve on keto if you make it through this adaptation. Apple cider vinegar taken before your meals, 1 tablespoon or so, and you don't want to sip it through a straw. Okay, watch my apple cider vinegar to learn better tactics on it, because it will still ruin your teeth if you sip it through a straw. Taking this before will massively blunt the blood sugar spike and help your body control the glucose that actually gets into your system. So this is huge, and that is amazing for minimizing excess glucose spikes and helping glucose go where it needs to go in your body. So that is massive for entering ketosis. The second one is sodium, so pink salt, and potassium salt. Okay, this is a Canadian brand, NoSalt. I have links to all these products in the description. Some of them you might have different versions for your country, but the combination of these two, these are the most important electrolytes for entering ketosis, along with magnesium, which I'm going to get to in a moment. But sodium, potassium are primarily responsible for hydrating you, and fueling you during exercise. So when we're talking about entering ketosis, you are cutting out carbs and you're lowering your water retention, because carbs and sodium are going to retain water. When you lower carb intake, your only method of retaining water at the start is increasing your sodium. Now, granted, a lot of people do this in this sort of, nonchalant way where they salt their food. I prefer, when I'm working with people, to have them start off with a controlled dose. However, there's no way for science to tell people what exactly your sodium potassium dose is off the bat. So I start things off conservatively, because if people start off with too much, they'll have to run to the bathroom and have some, bathroom emergencies, okay, if you get what I'm saying. So essentially what I recommend is people start off with a 1/4 teaspoon of each of these, and you either, pound them back if you're using a small amount, like a 1/4 teaspoon, but if you're using a little bit more, like closer to a 1/2 teaspoon, you sip on it throughout the day. My primary recommendation is get a 1/4 teaspoon, sip on it throughout the day in a thing of water. You can put some flavoring in there if you want to make it taste better, and essentially, if it tastes good to you on its own, that's an indication that you're low in salt, because your body has an ability to upregulate your sensitivity to salt in terms of how good it feels when you're low in hydration or salt or sodium. So essentially, when you take the 2 of these, it's necessary because all electrolytes deplete one another. So if you take too much sodium, it's going to deplete your potassium. And if you take too much potassium, it's going to deplete your magnesium. So this is where, the best way to start is just to get 2 of these, a regular pink salt or Redmond salt, Celtic salt, and then get potassium chloride, not the pills, because the pills can mess with you if you are, fasting more on an empty stomach. Gel capsules can give you some stomach ulcers, so don't do that. Get potassium chloride, and this is also tartrate form, I believe, as well. And that's what you want to sip on when you are entering ketosis. What this is also going to do is consuming the electrolytes, particularly the sodium, is going to lower your body when you're cutting out carbs for a long period of time. what it will do is it will artificially raise your insulin so that you retain more water. And the way that you counteract that is by raising your sodium so that your body isn't raising a hunger hormone like insulin. So essentially, you retain your water and your body can relax a bit, okay? So, and keep you more hydrated as well. This is key. Those are some of the most foundational ones for actually starting off well. And again, the dose I recommend, 1/4 teaspoon of each. Sip on it throughout the day. You can go a little bit higher, but if you do not overdo it at one time or else you have to run to the bathroom. The best way to handle the electrolyte supplements is by sipping them slowly. And no, Gatorade Zeros and other electrolyte supplements like that will not cut it. First of all, they're going to have other electrolytes which might deplete some of the other ones we're concerned about here. But mostly, electrolyte supplements in stores are very low dosed, and you're typically paying a large amount for them too, because you have to realize these are meant for people to be consuming during sports. And if you are giving people too many electrolytes at one time while they're playing a sport and they have to shit themselves, that's going to be a problem for your brand. So just get these individually and dose them in a conservative manner, one step at a time. Now, next one, magnesium. Magnesium is going to play in very well with these, but many people don't know that magnesium is involved in hundreds of chemical reactions in your body. As far as maintaining ketosis, the primary recommendation I would say is most people have a hard time relaxing their central nervous system if they're coming from, high carb diet and then going to low sugar, no sugar. Okay, magnesium is going to play a crucial role there, but I don't want to spend too much time on it. My favorite form here is 3-in-8. You can take far higher doses of magnesium 3-in-8 than other forms of magnesium. Again, magnesium will also help soften your stool if you have to go for bathroom purposes, especially if somebody's doing a lower fiber keto diet, and it's going to play roles digestively that will benefit you of a similar nature. 3-in-8 is going to provide similar benefits, mostly for the mind, mostly for providing 3-in-8 to the mind and actually delivering magnesium to the brain across the blood-brain barrier. But the thing is, you can take higher doses of it without having too much stool softening to the point where you're, running to the bathroom again, okay? So, I recommend not taking this at the same time as these, and ignore that I just have this salt in a steak seasoning bottle. Don't take them at the same time. In my opinion, I recommend taking this closer to the evening. Some people do like to take it in the morning as well, but only start doing that once you've got this stuff figured out. Now, for the next one, this is key, okay? BComplex. This is a B100 complex in a methyl form, okay? I've been through so many B complexes on this page, but the primary thing here is B vitamins. I think if you ever look at a B vitamin, it'll say crucial for the metabolism of carbohydrates and fats. Yes, they are, but the thing is, when you are starting a ketogenic diet, there could be a lot of different problems that this is going to fix. Number one, of course, you need the metabolism of energy, okay? Especially on a keto diet, B1 thiamine is going to basically play a crucial role in actually allowing your body to metabolize energy. But at the same time, this can also be looked at as a neurotransmitter reset. These B vitamins are also precursors to the major functions in your brain. And for a lot of people, if they're coming with from a diet where there was high reward response going off all the time, from high sugar, high fructose corn syrup, additives that raise your excitatory neurotransmitters, such as MSG and aspartame, if your brain was firing off on all cylinders before, and all of a sudden you are, switching to a diet that is devoid of those excitatory stimulants, B vitamin is going to save you here, but it has to be a methyl B complex. I'll explain that in a moment. Additionally, for some people, if they're getting headaches or other things of that nature when they're starting keto, besides the fact that it may be a hydration issue, which the sodium and potassium will help you out with, many headaches are a result of choline deficiency. Choline is one of the primary precursors to neurotransmitters in your brain. It's called acetylcholine. Acetylcholine is basically the neurotransmitter that goes off when you're focusing. Okay, many people think of stimulants, right, whenever they need a mental boost. One of your primary ways to boost your mental capacity is through cholinergic supplements, okay? So choline can get rid of some headaches if somebody is new to these things. It will play a large role in actually helping you adhere to the diet mentally. Okay, and it has to be methyl because many B vitamins will use cheap forms of the vitamins. So when people get B12, for example, and by the way, I'm talking all the B vitamins, not just B12, which is what everybody seems to confuse things with. A lot of B supplements will use, will use cheap forms of the vitamins, such as cyanocobalamin. opposed to methylcobalamin. Besides the fact that methylcobalamin is more efficient, cyanocobalamin is a cheaper form, it's easier to produce, and it contains a cyanide molecule, which your liver has to work harder to get rid of. So essentially, it's not going to kill you, but it is going to make your body work harder, and it's just going to be a problem, okay? So don't make me get into that more. I have other videos that explain it more. Additionally, take these with food, with your first meal. A lot of people, if there's sugar in the presence of their diet, they'll take this stuff, they'll just piss it out. You want to have this with a meal. On a keto diet, these are water-soluble nutrients, by the way. On a keto diet, you can take this in the morning without food, but if somebody does have sugar in a high presence in their diet, I would recommend taking this with a meal. But the last one here is going to be digestive enzymes. I never shut the hell up about these things. I never leave the house without these things. They're incredible. I have links to the best ones in the description, and this is honestly a fantastic one. The thing is, every time you're digesting anything, your body has to make enzymes to break them down. They're basically catalysts for changes to actually occur in your body. And when somebody is switching their diet to macronutrients that they're not used to having in a higher amount, such as fat, for example, basically their body might not have the raw materials to actually pull that off. Now, granted, some people may need specific digestive enzymes. I've worked with people without gallbladders. I've worked with people who have a hard time digesting fats, and they need to supplement with ox bile or other bile salts to basically emulsify the fat in their stomach. But the primary easy way to do this is if you don't have any sort of outstanding health condition, which, by the way, go to your medical doctor for, because this is just a YouTube video and not medical advice tailored to you. The thing is, digestive enzymes will get rid of majority of the problems you might encounter. They will break down the foods that you need, you're going to need like a lipase, which is an actual enzyme directed at fat. Okay, you're going to need the enzymes that are directed at fat here, but again, if you just get the ones I have in the description, they're going to be well balanced and have everything. But essentially, when you are eating lots of food, especially in the beginning, because one of my recommendations for keto newbies is just eat as much keto food as you want until you are full, because a lot of people have high blood sugar habits, and the only way to kind of soothe your body of that is to just eat keto food, but eat it in an amount until you're satiated, and then eventually your blood sugar will stabilize. But the primary recommendation where digestive enzymes come in with that is if you are consuming lots of food at the start, to soothe yourself, to make sure it's easier for you to start off with things. Don't concern yourself with calories at the moment for the first week. Digestive enzymes are going to save your ass. And besides the fact that even down the line, anytime you're mixing macronutrients, you should be consuming these. Well, carbs and protein specifically, you want to be taking a digestive enzyme. Carbs and protein digest in different pHs in your stomach. Carbs digest in a more alkaline solution, protein in a more acidic solution. And again, apple cider vinegar is going to help break down the protein, in addition to controlling glucose. Digestive enzymes are going to break down your food more, make it easier to digest, minimize any bloating or problems you might encounter, and overall, they will help you get appropriate absorption out of the foods you're actually eating. And especially if somebody is starting keto and they're new and they're overweight or something, chances are you already probably have lower stomach acidity or non-optimal gut pH environment, okay? Chances are you probably already have down-regulated liver enzymes for some of the foods you're going to be eating on keto. And basically, these things are going to save you, and then you're probably going to be using them the rest of your life because they make you feel so good and prevent problems that come from eating lots of food, okay? Even like a life hack, whenever you're eating Thanksgiving dinner or a load of food, besides the fact that most of the bloating and, shitty feelings come from mixing large amounts of carbs and protein in the same meal and fat, and that this could fix that, the main thing is, if you simply take an enzyme, when your body is taking in lots of food, it will break the food down for you and relieve your gut of having to do that itself. So, those are the supplements that you should take. I mean, there's other ones I could get into. I can get into a carnitine. I could get into some of these more luxurious ones, like an MCT oil. As a little side note here with MCT oil, if somebody is heavily addicted to processed foods, MCT oil may be very key, because MCT oil, and this has been very interesting in my work with people with brain injuries, is MCT oil, specifically C8, so Capryllic acid. This one's a good example. What it's going to do is it's going to provide immediate fuel for the brain, and the brain prefers to use ketones as a fuel rather than sugar in dominance, okay? Granted, the brain still needs sugar, but it can make all that it needs, and it's going to down-regulate that as somebody gets keto adapted. But MCT oil, which just fell on my floor, is going to make adaptation way easier for somebody who's addicted or has to foods or has some sort of type 2 diabetes, especially people with the dementia or mental brain functioning issue, especially because, you know, those are essentially a glucose transport issue and there's plaques built up in the brain, amyloid plaques. So essentially what you're going to want to do is MCT oil will make things easier because it will give your brain an alternative fuel and make it less reliant on sugar. That is a huge one, okay? So getting the MCT oil in small doses, do not overdo it or else you'll shit yourself, okay? Many of these supplements, it seems like they have that problem, but just don't be a maniac and down them all day. A teaspoon of MCT every couple hours, right? And then eventually after a week or so, you can start moving up to a tablespoon once a day or twice a day at most, okay, of MCT oil of high quality. Do not get a basic shitty MCT oil, and do not get coconut oil and try to use it as a substitute. It will still have some benefits, but coconut oil is far higher in lauric acid, which is C12, which will cause more stomach upset. Okay, and on that note, exogenous ketones can also be a great solution, and they do contain the electrolytes in a good balance if you get a good brand, like the ones I'm giving away, Athletic Alliance. And also they will provide ketone fuel for the brain, but for a lot of people it is easier to start off with MCT, especially when it comes to how quickly they actually get delivered to the brain. And in people with brain injuries, this is huge. In people with blood sugar and excitatory neurotransmitter food addictions like MSG, aspartame, MCT oil is powerful, and it really does make a difference. On that note as well, you could also use a glutamine supplement. I know I'm just rambling here, trying to give you the best content out there on keto. So, like the video. Glutamine can substitute for sugar in some functions in the brain. And for people who are heavily addicted to, you know, processed foods, for example, this can be killer because taking the glutamine in can basically minimize your brain's cravings for that sugar that it would have gotten from your previous lifestyle. Granted, glutamine is the most common amino acid out there, so what you can do is simply just, again, follow my advice to eat as much keto food as you want for the first week until you are satiated, because that way, you know, you can soothe the blood sugar spikes. You don't need to concern yourself with calories in the first week. But again, if you're consuming good quality proteins, you'll be getting plenty of glutamine. Okay? That is it for this video. I'm Anthony Romano. Subscribe, follow me on Instagram, like, you know, all that stuff. Leave me some comments. I'll do my best to get back to you. Peace.